Welcome to Radically Righteous Diaries. This is a space where you can, be open and honest with your opinions, thoughts, and your feelings and whatnot, no matter what they might be. Here, we talk about the hard things people usually don't want to talk about, and we try to see them in a biblical perspective. Um, I should probably also mention that I'm a devout Christian. That might sit well with some, it might not sit well with others, and that's okay. Everyone, no matter where you come from, what you think, whatever your opinion or your perspective is, everyone is welcome here. I don't mind at all, because actually, our topic today is why having a relationship with Jesus is so important. You know, why have a relationship with Jesus? Everyone's talking about, their relationship with God. And there are so many, ways I could answer that question, but the real question, to me at least, is why not have a relationship with Jesus? If you don't know who Jesus is, then I'll tell you. He's this really cool guy who, in lamest terms, sacrificed his life for you and for me. And you might be thinking, why for me? Why did he die for me? You know, because we're sinners. Me and you both, we're sinners. Not like the movie. Worse, in fact, we are sinners that deserve the worst punishment that could possibly be given. But, however, Jesus, being who he is, came down from heaven and took that punishment for us. Thank goodness for him. And we can go into details and talk about this at another time. But, where does the whole relationship thing come from? You know, there are plenty of ways that one could explain where it came from. A verse I could give you, plenty of verses probably, but just to explain it very quickly, there are countless times in the Bible that God referred to his people as his bride. You know, there are countless times God has referred to his people as his children. Bride, groom, father, children. Those are relationship examples, right? He also called himself a father and husband to those who followed him. And when he spoke to those who believed in him and followed him, he said for them to love and trust him. How can you have love and trust if there's no relationship? You see, I've proven my point already. And the bride part might sound a bit weird if you're unfamiliar with the topic, but the point is this: we are not called to have just any relationship with Christ, but a very, very, very close one. Why would having a relationship with Christ be so important? I don't know, maybe because he's God and he died for you. And that might sound very harsh and very, simple, but it's true. To go, a bit deeper into it in a more serious manner, the reason it's so important is simply because it's what we were created to do. You know, if you think about it, God is more important than the air that you breathe. He's deeper than that. He surpasses that. And you can't boil it down to a transactional relationship. He gives you air to breathe and keeps you alive, and so therefore you should, you owe him that. That's not what it's about. Just think about it. If you're one of the people watching this and you don't have a relationship with him, and you can still breathe, laugh, smile, love, and care, all of the mushy gushy stuff. God created these concepts. God created all these things for us to experience with him, and most of us completely push him out of the picture, even though he created the picture we're in. And it's not fair to him. It's not. But that's not even what I'm talking about. He chooses to not take any of those things away from us. So that's what I mean when I say that it's not transactional. Going back to the very beginning when it was only Adam and Eve, God created them not as robots, but as humans who have feelings and thoughts on their own, with the ability to make their own decisions. And we know they didn't make good decisions, but that's besides the point. God also created them with this great purpose to watch after and take care of the earth and all of God's other creations on the earth. And he also keeps Adam and Eve in the garden, close to him. God also put in place the Sabbath day for Adam and Eve to rest with God. You see, he wanted time and closeness with us. And on top of it all, he commanded Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply so there would be more of us to have time and closeness with. If that doesn't prove God's love for you, then I don't know what will. That time God wants to spend with you, the closeness he formed you for, that relationship he had in mind while making the first humans, it's what he wanted all along. It's why you are alive. You think your life depends on the air you breathe and the beat your heart makes, but no. It depends on God's desire to be close with you. He's waiting on you. Like I said earlier, the question is not why have, but why not have a relationship with God? And the answer is there is no answer, because having a relationship with God is our purpose. There is no good reason to not have one. And if you come up with one, it's only an excuse. Anyways, these are just my thoughts. And if anyone agrees or disagrees, comment down below. Um, support the channel if you'd like. Thanks for watching. And, you know, subscribe, comment, like all that stuff. Have a good one.